The city's heart pulsed with an unnerving stillness. The quiet subway station, usually bustling with life, was now a desolate echo of its daytime self. Alone on the platform, a weary commuter named Julia stood, her breath visible in the chill of the night. Waiting for the late-night train, the silence was only broken by the distant hum of the city's subterranean arteries. An eerie chill seemed to seep from the station's concrete bones, a spectral shiver that made her hairs stand on end. Faint footsteps echoed through the labyrinth of tunnels, a phantom rhythm that danced with the flickering lights. Julia shrugged off the unease, attributing it to the fatigue of a long and the loneliness of the late-night commute. Then, with the mechanical groan of rusted doors, the train arrived. Its car was as empty as the platform, an echo of hollow steel and cold seats. Julia hesitated, but with a resigned sigh, she stepped inside. The doors closed behind her with a haunting finality. The train started moving, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks echoing through the carriage. After a pause, a voice cuts through the haunting ambiance. Don't forget to subscribe to Horror Hushed for more chilling tales. A spectral silhouette loomed in the dimly lit corner of the subway car. This was no ordinary passenger. Dressed in a vintage conductor's uniform, the figure stood by the intercom. With a voice that echoed through the carriage like a chilling wind, it announced, "Next stop, the Abyss." A shiver of dread ran through Julia. The subway car, once a familiar and mundane part of her daily commute, now felt like a monstrous beast hurtling relentlessly into the unknown. The lights flickered, casting ghostly shadows that danced and swayed with the train's unnerving acceleration. The phantom conductor's hollow eyes seemed to stare right through her, its whispers filling the air with an ethereal chorus. Julia's instincts screamed for her to escape. She reached for the emergency button, pressing it with trembling fingers. But there was no response, only the relentless rush of the speeding train and the phantom conductor's haunting whispers. The whispers grew louder, weaving tales of lost souls and the subway's haunting history. Suddenly, the train screeched to a halt in an abandoned station, long forgotten by the city above. Julia, her heart pounding, stepped onto the desolate platform. The air was thick with a heavy silence, the kind that presses in on your ears and makes your skin prickle. The station was a relic of a bygone era, its age echoed in the peeling paint and rusted ironwork. The phantom conductor, a spectral beacon in this forgotten place, gestured towards a dimly lit tunnel. Julia, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, followed the ghostly figure. The tunnel opened up into a vast, neglected part of the subway system. The atmosphere was palpable, with a sense of dread and decay. It was as if time itself had stopped in these subterranean depths, preserving a chilling snapshot of the past. The phantom conductor continued his ethereal announcements, guiding Julia through the subterranean labyrinth. In the depths of the abyss, Julia stumbled upon a community of tunnel dwellers. These were not the outcasts or the homeless one might expect to find in such a place. These people had chosen to live in the underbelly of the city, away from the hustle and bustle of the surface world. Their faces were etched with lines of fear, resignation, and a strange sort of acceptance. They lived in the shadows, their existence a secret to the world above. As Julia ventured deeper into their domain, she was met with cautionary tales of a malevolent force that lurked in the shadows. The tunnel dwellers spoke in hushed whispers, their voices echoing off the damp walls of the underground labyrinth. They told her of the Wendigo, a vengeful spirit said to roam the tunnels. It was a creature of despair, feeding off the hopelessness and dread of those who dared to venture into its territory. The Wendigo, they said, was not just a figment of their collective imagination, but a very real and tangible threat. It was a spirit of the subway, born from the sorrow and suffering of lost souls. Its presence was a constant reminder of their choice to live in the abyss, a decision that came with its own set of dangers and fears. They warned Julia, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and concern. They spoke of the Wendigo's victims, those who had gotten lost in the maze of tunnels and never found their way back. They shared stories of commuters who had accidentally crossed into the abyss, their fate sealed by the vengeful spirit. As they shared their tales, the tunnel dwellers painted a vivid picture of the Wendigo. It was a haunting, spectral figure, forever prowling the shadows of the subway. It was a symbol of their fears, their regrets, and the price they paid for choosing to live in the depths of the city. They spoke of disappearances, of commuters who had crossed into the abyss and never returned. Their words echoed in Julia's mind as she delved deeper into the labyrinth, her resolve hardened. She knew she had to face the Wendigo, to uncover the truth behind the tunnel dwellers' tales. Little did she know, her journey was just beginning. As Julia reached the heart of the abyss, she faced a moral dilemma. The air was heavy with the weight of despair, the whispers of the phantom conductor echoing in the eerie silence. The spectral figure stood by her side, his hollow eyes reflecting a sorrow that seemed as old as the tunnels themselves. The Wendigo, the malevolent spirit that haunted this subterranean world, lurked in the shadows. Its presence was a cold, gnawing dread that seeped into every corner of the forgotten station. The tunnel dwellers, their faces etched with fear and resignation, looked on as Julia found herself standing at the precipice of a decision that could change their destiny. The phantom conductor's voice filled the air, weaving a tale of tragedy and loss. He spoke of a time when the subway was a bustling hub of life, of people who had once walked these platforms with dreams and aspirations. But a terrible event had struck the station, a disaster that had claimed lives and condemned the subway to abandonment. The despair of the lost souls had given birth to the Wendigo, binding the tunnel dwellers to their subterranean prison. Julia stood still, the phantom conductor's words echoing in her mind. She looked upon the faces of the tunnel dwellers, their eyes pleading for release from their eternal torment. The Wendigo's chilling presence seemed to grow stronger, feeding off their fear. Against the suffocating despair, Julia's courage ignited. She felt a surge of determination, a resolve to free the lost souls from their curse. With the phantom conductor's guidance, she confronted the Wendigo, standing tall against the malevolent force that had dominated the abyss for too long. The confrontation was a test of will, a battle against an enemy that thrived on fear and despair. But Julia stood resolute, her courage a beacon of hope in the heart of the abyss. As she faced the Wendigo, the phantom conductor's whispers grew stronger, guiding her through the ordeal. In a moment of courage, Julia confronted the malevolent force, unraveling the dark secrets of the subway's subterranean society. The Wendigo's grip loosened, and a sigh of relief echoed through the tunnels. The faces of the tunnel dwellers softened, their silent gratitude resonating in the heart of the abyss.